Greetings, adventurers. This video is a very special video. This one was written by a woman named Lauren. She is a very dear friend of mine and also a writer by trade. So she writes scripts for ASMR artists, and she is just so much fun to work with. She is so creative and imaginative, and she's a wonderful listener, and is really good at helping you kind of think around a problem and taking a very small idea and turning it into something amazing. She has been so much fun to work with, and our little storyboard meetings that we have over on Discord or over the phone they're always the highlight of my week. So Lauren works with channels of all sizes, whether you're just getting started on YouTube or whether you have millions of subscribers. And she works on a sliding scale so that anyone can have writing help, which is really amazing. And she has worked with channels of all different sizes, so whatever size you are, that's the perfect size to work with her. And she is available for anything from just kind of idea meetings, if you have something and you just kind of need someone to bounce some ideas off of and brainstorm and help to kind of turn something vague into something more concrete, all the way up to fully writing scripts for you. So if you are an ASMR artist who likes to do role plays, or anything that you would need a script for, I highly, highly, highly encourage you to check her out because her work is amazing and she's also just an amazing person. So you can contact her on Twitter, or by email, whichever one you are more comfortable with. I'll leave those links in the description below as well as on the screen here so you can use whichever method you would like there. So thank you, Lauren, so much for helping with writing this video and other videos for the Whisperwind Adventure. And let's get to the video.
That'll be far enough, stranger. State your business. Just passing through. Well then, you're either a liar or a fool. For your sake, you'd better be hoping it's the latter. Don't you know where you are? Well, yes, you're right outside the town of Eifendel, but you have found yourself in Peddler's Alley. More specifically, in front of the Mercenary's Guild. My Mercenary's Guild. So I'll be asking you again to state your business. You're looking for a place to make camp? Well, I guess we have our answer then, don't we? Definitely a fool. Stand down, gentlemen. You daren't make camp here, traveller. At best, you'd wake up robbed of all your coin. At worst, well, you may not be waking up at home. No, if you're looking for a place to stay, there's the Burden House. It's about 3 blocks or so that way or something. They'll keep you safe for the night, and they'll only rob you of some of your coin. I would maybe take some protection. Peddler's Alley is not a place for the faint of heart, especially at night. Angus here, he's well trained, charges a reasonable rate. You'd only need him at night too. That's a bit safer during the day. Oh, let me guess, you're a big, strong, seasoned adventurer. You don't need protection, right? Well, you may find that's not exactly true here in Peddler's Alley. All sorts of dangers. People like me were actually the least of your worries. Why don't you come into the guild with us for a bit? You can regale us with your tales of bravery and honour and adventure. No, I insist. Come on in, have a drink. Let's have a bit of a chat, shall we? Come along. you are, traveller. It's not the finest ale in Eifendel by any means, but it'll do the job. There you are. Now, before you begin to regale us with your tales of adventure and wonder and bravery, I need to talk to you first. You're being followed, traveller. I noticed a pair of eyes in the thicket while we were talking. Now they were pretty good. I mean, not many people can get past my eye, but if it had been anyone else, they probably wouldn't have noticed. It seems that you've drawn some attention. And here, it's not usually a good thing. I'm not normally in the habit of just inviting anyone into my guild, but I didn't want to stick around to see what was going to happen. Especially not at night when you don't actually know where you are. Oh, it's alright. Stay and drink with us a while. When you're ready to rest, well, I'm sure we can find you a room. No, keep your coin. The stout-hearted in this world have to stick together, eh? So then this fool marches themselves right into Shadowmoor Forest, alone, without knowing a thing about the place. And I'm sure the Spider Queen made quite the welcome upon your arrival, and an unescapable one at that. You've certainly had quite the adventures, ain't you, traveller? You know, that reminds me of the time that it was, who was it? It was Harold and Genevieve. They were protecting some merchants from Beowulf, and the whole lot of them got stuck in some quicksand. How did you get out of that one again?
We made our way onto our backs.
Ah, that's right. They got onto their backs, and they swam out of there. There was no saving the clothing, though. That is quite the stink. We had to burn them outside. We burn a lot of your clothes, don't we, Harold? Well, that's what it is, this line of work. You never quite know what you're going to come against. You remember that undead in the lighthouse? That was a whole other level of stink. Coming as bad. Let's see, who was there? Who was that one? That was Genevieve too, isn't it? Yeah, it was you and Harold and Elgin and me and Blaine. Yeah. Genevieve over there, she was just a wee little lass. We started her early. Well, I guess she really came to us, didn't she? We were just a wee thing. You know, I sort of assumed that she would pick something like a crossbow. You know, something about hands off, a long-range weapon. It's her size and all. Not this lass. She wanted to wield a greatsword. The thing was as big as her. It's still almost as big as her. She's a mighty thing. She can run through 2 boars in one swipe, and then kick them both out for a nice supper.
A woman's place is on the hilt of a fine blade.
A fine blade, and an enchanted one at that. Oh, I don't think I've told you yet, traveller. There is a resident enchantress that lives here in Eifendel. No one knows where she lives exactly. She sort of comes and goes as she pleases. No one knows how to get in touch with her or when she'll show up next. But when she does, there's always a good reason for it. We've come to know her presence over the past few years. Oh, and before you ask, that wasn't her that I saw in the bushes watching you. She makes no secret of her arrival. Genevieve, how old were you when she enchanted that great sword of yours?
19.
Has it really been 3 years already? Time flies, I suppose. There we are. Oh, I didn't ask. Would you like one? You don't smoke. That's good. That's good. Nasty habit. I should really stop myself. Although these are, they're a bit less strong than your typical cigars. These are sort of herbal wraps. We get them from a place not too far up the alley, actually. It's this strange woman who sells all of these tinctures and potions and things like that, some of which she's not supposed to have. But she sells these good herbal ones. Supposed to not be so bad for you. They don't stink quite as much either. Oh, the enchantress? Yeah. Let's see. It was, like I said, it was Genevieve and Harold, Elgin and me. And we had just slain this undead sorcerer. Or so we thought. I mean, Genevieve had run it right through with her greatsword, so we thought that was the end of it. His remains reconstituted themselves into some sort of awful flying creature. It was like a, what would you say, like a flying scorpion or something. Like nothing I'd ever seen before, or seen since. It was terrible. Some sort of final revenge, I suppose, of the sorcerer. So it starts flying around and shooting these poison darts at us, and it's got this great stinger on the back, and we have no idea what to do. So we're all sort of regrouping, trying to figure out how we're going to take this thing down. And then all of a sudden, Genevieve just disappears. There's a sort of greenish glow, and then she's just gone. See, we thought at the time that it must have been something that the sorcerer had done. Some other kind of spell or something, maybe trapped her in some sort of pocket dimension to separate us. Unbeknownst to us, it had been the enchantress who had whisked Genevieve away to enchant her sword. And it's a good thing too. It's with an undead sorcerer like that, there isn't any weapons of this world that would have been able to slay him. Would have just kept coming back as worse and worse and worse monsters. But of course we didn't know that at the time. We were all just trying to figure out a way to stop the thing. And just as we were trying to get in position, it lunged forward and its great tail came out and stabbed Blaine right in the heart. Lifted him off the ground. It was an awful sight. And then Elgin ran over to see if he could do anything to help, while Harold tried to distract the thing, but Blaine was gone. So there we are, now down another person, trying to fight this thing. No idea what we're gonna do. And then all of a sudden, in the middle of the room, there's this green glow again. And then there's Genevieve back from her time with the magical enchantress, with her greatsword now glowing green. Well, she snuck up behind the thing, slashed it right across the back, and the thing sort of exploded into this green goo. It was quite disgusting, but at least it was gone, eh? It's a powerful sword. Lost a good man that day though. Blaine. He was one of the best of us, if you ask me. Been around almost since the beginning. You know, people hear the term mercenary. They tend to think that we're these bloodthirsty people who will do anything for a quick coin. But that's not it at all. We live by a code. Blaine held to it more than anything. He would only take jobs that helped people. Did a little work pro bono too, much to my dissatisfaction. It cost money to run a guild, you know, but that's just who he was. Wanted to see a world where people weren't afraid to live in their own homes. A world where we were all equal. A world where people could be safe. I hope I live to see a day in a world that Blaine wanted. Maybe someday. If ever the lady face smiled on anyone, it was Blaine. Anyway, so that's the story of the day we lost one of our best, and Genevieve started wielding her enchanted greatsword. Would you mind taking it out and showing our guest here, Jane? We'll forgive you for being drawn in company.
If you see this unsheathed,
There's always a good reason. Aye, indeed. If you ever see that glow, be ready to prepare yourself to fight something truly horrible. The blade, and the lass that wields it. She's become Eifendel's best hope against the undead. These days, anyway. Or maybe someday that'll be different. But for now, we're really all that stands in the way of the good people of Eifendel and anything of the dark, enchanted nature. You see, with all of these new restrictions on things like magical items, people don't really have a way to defend themselves from a magical attack, from undead sorcerers or anything like that. Luckily we've got that great sword, but maybe someday it'll be different. You know, there was one other person since then that's been visited by our enchantress. Ferdinand, where are you? There he is. His bitter plume plant was enchanted by her, and now his warden potions are some of the most sought after in the whole kingdom. In fact, you know, I think I got an extra one somewhere. Ah, here we go. Why don't you take this with you? It'll be good in a pinch. Now, it works almost immediately, so as soon as you feel any sort of danger coming on, especially if it's danger that's sort of a magical type, you drink this down. Could save your life someday. You never know. There you are. Sure. You never know when something like that might happen. It might come in handy. Like I said, the stout-hearted of this world, we gotta stick together. Well, you're looking a bit tired. I guess you've been travelling for a while today, ain't you? Well, maybe that's enough stories for one night then. Shall we go find you a place to rest? Right. Follow me. Oh, well, look who's up bright and early. I'm impressed. Most people who spend a night drinking with the guild, they spend most of the next day sleeping it off. You look rather bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. Or are you eager to be getting on your way, I suppose? Alright, well, before you head out, maybe I could just offer you a bit of advice about Puddler's Alley, seeing as it's your first time here and all. Now, I'm guessing an adventurer like you, you've probably been to places like this before, at least similar. They're not inherently dangerous as long as you know to sort of keep to yourself. Someone like you, I'm sure you won't have a problem. Now, as you head out to the Mercenaries Guild here, you'll see a table with an old woman cooking food. That's Arla. It's a good place to get some breakfast. She always does pay what you can as well. We try to throw a few extra gold her way when we can afford it. She's a good soul. Not all of the food on Peddler's Alley can be trusted, but she can. She's a good person. Been here as long as I can remember, at least. Now, about the person who's been following you. Do you have any idea who that might be? I see. Well, it might be worth then taking a stop at Fairthane's gaming table. She's a ways closer to Eifendel. You won't be able to miss her. She'll be shouting at you to come and try your luck at some rigged game or another. I'm sure she makes plenty of money from tourists and maybe some locals too. But when you sit down at her table, she will offer you some scotch. I want you to accept it, take a drink of it, and then say that it reminds you of the Oak and Shield Tavern. That's her password. She'll know what that means. It means that you're there for information. See, she runs her gaming table, but really what she excels at is keeping her ear to the ground. Quite a lot of things that she knows. She's sort of a main source of intel in the underground workings of Peddler's Alley. So maybe ask her if she knows anyone who might want to know of your whereabouts. Yeah. Well, even I use her from time to time. She's trustworthy. You may need to lose some coin at her game first, but the information she gives you will definitely be worth it. Yeah. Well, let me leave you with this, traveller. This quest that you've been talking of, haven't gone into all that much detail, that's understandable. But it sounds like it is a very noble, very worthy cause. But if ever you should be looking for employment, there could be a place here for you at the Guild. We need more people like you. Always need more people like you. No, I know you'd be refusing me this time. It's far too important, this mission of yours, isn't it? Well, just something to consider. Down the road, maybe. Someday. Hopefully we'll meet again, in some way or another. Well, keep your heart pure. Keep your eyes open. I think you'll be alright. Well met, traveller.